Alright guys, I alluded to it yesterday when I went over the 109Z and I mentioned that this aircraft had similar cannon performance with its 30 millimeters. So here it is, the P.228 Gloster. Now this aircraft was a theoretical aircraft that was never actually produced, and it was supposed to be a jet-powered night fighter replacement for the British. It's a very similar type of concept. The guns are mounted underneath the nose of the fuselage. The reason being is that the muzzle flash wouldn't cause night disruption of the night vision that the pilots had developed from flying in darkness, because if you're ever aware, bright lights will cause your pupils to dilate and contract, which ruins your night vision capability. So this aircraft has a couple of advantages, and if you compare it to the Flying Moose, its predecessor, or the Flying Pig as I like to call it, the 1056, you're going to find that you obviously have much more consistent guns with the 30 millimeters, but you're also going to find that you are going to have much better altitude performance as well. This thing can go up to 8,000 feet. Well, now at Tier 9 that's not spectacular, but it's enough to keep it outside of the engagement zone of a lot of other nasty aircraft at lower altitude. In addition to that, it foregoes having the 1,000-pound bombs that you had seen ever since the Hornet series, and now you find yourself replacing those with rockets. A lot of friggin' rockets. This thing has 16 rockets. That's absolutely nuts. That's 8 rockets per wing. That's like having a Hornet's worth of rockets underneath each one of your arms. It's absolutely insane. And this aircraft is huge in order to accommodate it. So being a very large platform means that it's very easy for people to be able to get shells on target onto this plane, which is something that is going to be complete inverse when it comes to flipping that around, because these 30 millimeter cannons are super laggy, and with the speeds that aircraft are traveling at Tier 9, it's very hard to try and pull lead, especially against a really fast 262 HG. Those things are just insanely fast. So I'm going to do what a heavy is really meant to do. A heavy is meant to go after these bombers. It's perfect for going after these bomber flights. A lot easier to hit, massive damage, and just look how quickly we shredded that first bomber. Massive damage output from these 4 30 millimeter monsters. And you can see the rate of fire is pretty good. The overheat and cooldown's pretty good. They cool down very rapidly, so I'm just one bomber after one bomber after one bomber. And if you compared this to the XP58 video, you'll see it's a very similar type of performance. The major difference, however, being that the XP58 has like a 13-second turn time compared to this beast, which is like a 14 plus. I'll have to look at the stats. I'll pop them in the bottom left in a second here. I'm sure I already did it, but much slower turn time, and it very much felt lethargic. So I did do the improved flaps on this aircraft in order to make it a little bit more wieldy when it comes to trying to get the guns on target for a boom and zoom pass, and you'll see how effective it is here as we manage to get the lead accurate, and poof, another aircraft down on a head-on pass going at over 400 miles an hour. The aircraft cruises at a decent enough speed, and then it has the ability to boost very quickly, and we'll see that later in this fight when I start getting chased down by an XF5U with one of the pancakes, and we managed to get the heck out of there. But I am doing my primary job. I am killing these things, and what happened for the enemy is they weren't stopping our bombers from coming in because they were going after the fighter bases. So that's fine. You guys can have the air bases all day. I really don't care, because I managed to get the command centers. Now, some of you may be thinking, Veebat, you got target fixated there and you let them shoot you down. Did I? Those bombers were the last bomber flight for a while. Now that those bombers are taken out, they don't have any more coming in. So my team no longer has to worry about these command center bombers coming in. All they really need to worry about is defending the command centers. So I'm going to go back over to my command center, the original one we had, and I'm going to help knock out these RB-17s, because that's what this aircraft is good at doing. 30-second boost is a pretty substantial boost, and I may be crazy, but I feel like it comes back relatively quickly. But on top of that, the boost is very effective. It's very quick to accelerate to those higher speeds. I mean, look at this thing. Those engines are massive, just huge engines occupying this large section of the midwing. It's a very interesting looking aircraft, and it's also one of the few aircraft that features 2 seats in it in this game. Making one of these passes for a boom and zoom on a ground target that's flying at low altitude, it's very important that you're aware that you're making an angled approach instead of a straight vertical drop, and I was holding down the flaps as well as the air brakes on that dive, and I was still accelerating. Because I have polished airframe on this, it's going to make the thing go just a little bit faster. Now you'll see here, I'm trying to pull lead, they're not even close, so I end up having to pull lead way outside the reticle and just swing it far outside my field of vision, and that's when the shells hit. So zooming in to get an accurate shot might not be your best option when he's making a complete lateral movement across your field of view. If he's in astern, or he's heading at you, sure, zoom in. But if he's coming straight across at a 90-degree tack to your path of travel, whew, it is going to be a rough time. Like even here, not easy to get those shots on target, but I managed to get them, and I'd like to say that it was the improved flaps that helped me be able to do that. Going after these bombers again. We lost that command center, but I have faith that we'll be able to get it back. Things are looking a little bit grim right now. They're maintaining 3 capture zones. We're far behind on the points. I know I got to get these bombers knocked out as soon as possible. That one must have got a critical. I took him out real fast. I've been retaining these rockets for quite a while, but there just isn't a ground target to go after. It's nice to have them for when you need them, but yeah. Now this ace, this is an ace for killing bombers. Is it really an ace? That's another debate to be had, I'm sure. Alright, so we took out those bombers. I know more are coming back, so the best I can do here is just hope that my ground pounder ME329, that's my other teammate, is making his way over to their command center to try and flip it, because that'll be our best bet. There is a triangle over there. I don't know if it's him or not, so I'm going to do my best to hold these bombers at bay if I can, but here comes this XF5U charging right at me. I was thinking I'd go after that Spitfire because it was squall line and maybe I could get rid of him early, but okay. There's Winged Legend. He took out my pilot. I know that I can't turn on an XF5U. The guy is way too maneuverable. So I put the nose down, and look at this speed we're able to get in the dive as we're getting chased by these 2 aircraft. And you can see my buddies are vectoring in on him. And I've taken 2 aircraft effectively out of the fight. And somehow my team managed to flip both of those airfields. Now I'm kind of hitting the edge of the map, so I decided to do a double back. I take a few pod shots here at that guy, no connections, that's fine. I'm going to get the heck out of Dodge, keep using what boost I have left, and it felt like it came back relatively quick. We're already up to 22 seconds, 23 seconds on the boost. I don't know what it is. So we know the XF5U is gone. He's no longer chasing me. I have no idea where that Spitfire went, so I decided, you know what? The bombers. I gotta get these bombers. If I don't get this bomber out of here, at least one of them, to keep them from fully taking a site, then I'm gonna be in trouble. Just for your edification, there are 5 bombers. It takes all 5 bombers dropping on a zone to completely capture it. If you take out one of those bombers, they'll leave a 1/5 of the health left, theoretically. So I'm getting in here as fast as I can, burning up all my boost, firing early. I'm overheating the guns. I just want to get one of them, just one of them. Get him, get him, get him. I think that might have been enough, and I think they took out another one over on the right side. So I think my guy dropped the bombs. I was pretty sure we were going to lose this site. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I just killed him in the zone, and I just realized this now watching the replay. That's what saved this command center. Oh, and it was a ram, but he hit my vertical stabilizer. A lot of people don't know this, but it does calculate whether or not you're hitting the fuselage or you're hitting a wingtip. So if you know you're going to ram somebody and there's not really a way out of it, or it is a solid tactical move to do it, hit them with the extreme tip of your wing or your vertical stabilizer. That was the Spitfire player behind us. I knew he was there. I figured, alright, we made one pass. We killed him, or we damaged him, we didn't kill him, but I'm not going to try and turn with him. He'll get the advantage on us and I'll burn speed. So I'm going to do my best to get up here and kill this yak, because now that he's gone, there's only one aircraft left. And look at this, the score's finally caught up. Killing that guy in the command center gave us some more capture points, and then some other plane died in there, or we killed another defender, and then here's the Spitfire trying to get away, and we are zoning in on him, and the game ends. But oh my goodness, what a nail biter. And I think this really emphasizes not giving up in these fights. It's very valuable, and you really can turn it around. Here's the endgame results. Alright, here we are at the post-game stats, and I have to fully admit to you guys, this is by far the best match I have had in this plane from the very beginning of getting it. These 30mm cannons have been kicking my butt, much like I've described with the 109Z. Getting used to a cannon shell that you have a tough time visualizing where it's going to be due to a very slow projectile speed is a real challenge, and I'm glad I'm getting a hang of it, but I think you guys can see where it can be a real challenge at times to be able to get those guns on target, do what the aircraft is supposed to do, and then turn the tables on the enemy using the advantages that this airframe has, which is very strong guns and very good boost speed. And apparently we just unlocked the final upgrade on the engines. An overall outstanding result for me, and I was lucky enough that I was in a battle with command centers, I have to be totally honest, because that's where a lot of those aerial kills came from. But you saw how important it was for holding that command center. Even though I only managed to kill one of the bombers in that final bomber flight, it allowed us to be able to hold the zone long enough for us to be able to eventually get air supremacy and turn the tables on the battle. A great result for us. Top Gun, or an ace rather. I think ace is, when you're killing bot bombers, I don't think that this should actually count towards this total. I understand why it does, but it's not really. I think the ace should be relegated to like your fighters and stuff like that, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to attain with heavies typically. Otherwise, what you're going to force here is if somebody's hunting for an ace and they know they can get it from going after bombers, fighters may start going after bombers in order to get this medal, and that's not really where they're meant to be. That's where the heavies are supposed to be doing their job and intercepting those bombers. So, I don't know, it's a false result, if you would, but that's just me. And of course, we managed to get quite a few personal points, 17,000, which is well above the threshold for the 14,000 personal points for Winged Legend, and then a Flying Paladin badge for destruction of aerial targets. So this was great, in a massive contrast to the last battle I had, where the last battle I had in this aircraft, I was up against one other player in an F-86 Sabre. Yes, a tier 10 fighter that can outpace me, outclimb me, and output me based on him getting on my tail, and I could never get my guns on him, and I got decimated with a 600-0 battle. It was absolutely horrendous. So this was a great turnaround to give me a positive outlook for this aircraft in the future. Whew, what a massive result. I'd like to say that we did a lion's share of the work in this battle, but I have to say that Mouse, I really think that this guy was killing aircraft. Let's take a look and see here. Yeah, he killed 2 different aerial targets, assisted in destroying 6 others, so he was down there fighting that just absolute torrent of ground attackers and heavies and bombers that were coming into that command center, and by holding that and letting our bombers go through with free reign and holding their bombers back is really what pushed this match over the edge, which is why it's so important to play those offensive objectives. So my hat's off to you, Dumas. I'm sure that's supposed to be pronounced Dumas, but great battle. I really enjoyed it. And to these guys in SF, guys, great fight. I enjoyed myself, and that was a very close match. It was a very close match, but it just signifies how important it is not to give up. As always, if you guys liked the video, go ahead and hit that like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and I'll catch you all in the next one.